Hi everyone, my name's Anissa, and today I'm going to be talking about ethics with the environment and nature, focusing on animals. I've always loved the outdoors and exploring. I grew up in a rural area with a large garden and a wide variety of fruit trees. As a young child, it seemed everyone wanted to be a vet and work with animals, and that was never really something that interested me as my family never had any pets, although we did have chickens for a few years. As I grew older, I began to appreciate the beauty and uniqueness of animals as I learned more about them and had experiences with them. This led me to become more curious and appreciative of nature in its entirety. My passion for sea turtles, stingrays, corals, dolphins, and sea life all around comes from my time working at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. I spent 6 months working there, and half of that time was spent at the Seas with Nemo and Friends in Epcot. Here I had the amazing opportunity to see magnificent creatures every day at work. Although I was not personally working with the animals, watching them and learning from the animal education cast members was amazing. As wonderful as it was to see these animals, I did find myself sad at times because they were in a sense trapped in an enclosed area and didn't have the whole big old blue to swim in. Others reassured me with the truth that these animals receive the best care, and the site is accredited by the AZA, which stands for the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. As of September 2019, 238 organizations hold this accreditation. Most of the recognized properties are located in the United States, but they have locations in Canada, Mexico, Singapore, Hong Kong, Spain, Argentina, South Korea, and more. The values and what they evaluate is the living environments, social groupings, health, nutrition, the veterinary programs, involvement in conservation and research, education programs, safety policies and procedures, security, physical facilities, guest services, and the quality of the institution's staff. They also look at the finances, the governing authority, and the support organization. So they look at everything. Through these experiences, I have begun pondering the difference between nature-based tourism versus ecotourism, asking myself, what is the ultimate goal of this organization? Is nature receiving respect in this scenario? As I researched the Disney company, I found their statement in regard to protecting nature. For over a decade, Disney has invested in nature-based climate solutions. These natural places provide habitats for animals and resources for local communities through food, shelter, and income, all while helping reduce the impact of climate change. There seems to be a scale on the ethical level of an operation. For example, the sea life in Epcot and the wildlife in Animal Kingdom are well taken care of, but they're not 100% in their natural environment. There are limitations. Yes, they are healthy and the animals are helped, including rescue and rehabilitation. One example would be the manatee area. They have helped multiple manatees who have been injured from motorboat accidents. With all Disney does for the environment, I would consider the Disney Conservation Fund to be the most respectful of nature's authentic existence. They have donated $100 million to support nonprofits that save animals and protect the environment, as opposed to using it as an element to entertain and gain profit in the theme parks. I'm going to show 2 brief clips about Disney's involvement in the environment and nature.
Conservation isn't just the business of a few people. It's a matter that concerns all of us. It's a science whose principles are written in the oldest code in the world, the laws of nature. The natural resources of our vast continent are not inexhaustible. But if we will use our riches wisely, if we will protect our wildlife and preserve our lakes and streams, these things will last us for generations to come.
Remember the first time you took flight, went for a swim, ran through the wild, and made your dreams come true. Disney was there, igniting your sense of adventure, wonder, and excitement. From the beginning, we have looked to nature for inspiration to make our stories possible. We say thank you to the animals who touch our hearts. This year, the Disney Conservation Fund, along with leading nonprofit organizations, invites you to get out. Here we go. Get inspired and get involved to help at-risk wildlife. Here we go. Here we go. And away, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And away, here we go. Connect with the magic of nature. Follow us on Facebook and stay up to date on all our programs, because making a difference is the greatest adventure of all.
As you can see, Disney has made a significant impact around the world to help protect the environment. I would like to note that videos do create an emotional response for viewers, which plays a role in ethical decision-making and moral values. A final example of Disney's relationship with nature is on their Living with the Land attraction. On this slow-moving ride, guests learn about the earth and efforts Disney makes to practice sustainable operations. One example they share is aquaponics, a combination of hydroponics and aquaculture. Here, plants are grown directly above a fish tank. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. Another example of a hospitality company considering their environmental impact and incorporating it into their business plan is Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. I spent my reading week here and thoroughly enjoyed snorkeling and swimming in the ocean. They have animal feedings guests can watch or even participate in. I learned that Atlantis is also actively breeding and releasing the endangered green sea turtle. They have returned 700 hatchlings to the ocean to help increase wild populations. Even with this excellent work, I was troubled to see sea turtles living in such shallow waters and even a small space. It's not natural for them to be in these areas. Similarly, with the stingrays, it's not natural to be fed by humans. As cool as this experience was, it did bring up some questions about the ethics of the operation. These practices bring up the challenge as to whether the company truly has the animals' needs at heart. Is their priority to respect and aid the creatures, or to influence guests and increase profit? Here's a video that shows another example about what the Blue Project at Atlantis is doing. As you can see, this is another company who has a scale of helping the environment. Yes, they're doing amazing work, but they also sell packages to resort guests to have interactions and swim with dolphins. I had this opportunity at Disney, and it was amazing. It was a 3-hour learning experience, including a tour of the facilities. The grand finale was a hopeful encounter with a dolphin. This was emphasized as they do not force any of the animals to do anything. They can't, considering dolphins are over 500 pounds of pure muscle. The experience created a strong emotional response on my part, and I now have the utmost respect for these majestic creatures. The challenge is whether having these animals in an enclosed space is truly respecting them and placing their needs above human desire. Are we allowing harm to come to animals' lives for human benefit and entertainment? I would encourage you all to ponder these questions and seek to understand whether companies are operating with animals' ultimate well-being as the focus. Similarly to Disney and Atlantis, do different avenues of their services impact the environment and its animals in different ways? Ask yourself if the company's practices are ethical, and to see how gaining knowledge and having an emotional experience with the creatures of the world influence your perspective. Thank you for listening.